G'day everyone. If you've landed on this video because you're looking for advice on how to catch your very first Murray cod, then you've come to the right spot. Jeez, that was a big fish. Before I start, I just want to acknowledge a couple of YouTube channels for giving me the inspiration to make this video. Back in the winter, or during the winter, most of my videos are carp fishing and crayfishing. Most other things aren't biting. I usually fluke a couple of yellow belly and redfin or a few trout in the lakes, but overall carp and crayfish dominate my YouTube content during the winter months. Last winter I thought, I might go to Melbourne and see if I can catch a saltwater fish. I know nothing about saltwater fishing, so I checked out a couple of YouTube channels. One of them was Alan Bonacci from Fishing Mad, an excellent YouTube channel, an excellent presenter, and he really taught me a lot. And the other one was Juz from Juz Adventures. Juz is very switched on. He's got long hair, he's a bit rough, but I just get the impression that he's a really nice guy. And those guys taught me how and where I can go, the absolute basics of what I need to do to go and catch a pinky snapper. Unfortunately, I never made it, but I'm armed with the information thanks to them guys. And I thought, you know what? When the cod season opens, I need to make something similar so that anybody from Melbourne or anywhere else that's just going to try cod fishing for the first time has a starting point. And that's what this video is all about. So here's my 5 tips to help you get started in your Murray cod fishing journey, beginning with number 5. Now, number 5 is research. Research, research, research. The best asset that we have here in Victoria is the Victorian Fisheries Authority website. VFA, Victorian Fisheries Authority, .vic, because it's Victoria, .gov, because it's the Victorian Government, .au. vfa.vic.gov.au. That takes you to the Victorian Fisheries website, and from there you will find everything you need to know. That is like our Bible for freshwater fishing, or our Bible for fishing in general in Victoria. Now on there you can find the seasons, the laws, the rules and everything, but you can also find fish stocking history, where fish have been stocked. Now Murray cod are endemic to the Murray-Darling Basin. Endemic basically means native in its native country. So they're a native fish because they belong to Australia, but they don't belong to all of Australia. They belong to the Murray-Darling Basin. That's why they're called endemic to the Murray-Darling Basin. So basically the Murray River and all of its tributaries can contain Murray cod. But there are Murray cod outside of their natural range. One such place is the Yarra River. Where? I don't know. You'll need to do some research. But the Victorian Fisheries Authority has stocked Murray cod into a number of waterways in and around Melbourne. Urban waterways, they call them. I'm not sure which ones because I never go to Melbourne. I hate the place. Sorry to all you Melburnians. I'm just a country boy through and through. But there are lots of waterways down there around Melbourne that have been stocked with Murray cod, and by doing your research at the Victorian Fisheries Authority website, you can see exactly which ones have been stocked. Also, on the subject of research, don't just rely on the Victorian Fisheries Authority website. There's YouTube channels. Some people say where they are, some don't say where they are, but you'll get an idea. There's Facebook pages, there's the Goulburn River fishing page, there's the Lake Eildon fishing pages, Fishing Albury Wodonga, there's a Bendigo fishing page. There's fishing pages all over the place that will help you out. There's YouTube. There's just so many places to do your research before you go fishing. But the first thing you need to know is that they are endemic to the Murray-Darling Basin. They're in the Murray-Darling Basin and most of the tributaries that flow into the Ovens River. And number 4 is where to go. Where are you going to go fishing? Where do you go to catch a Murray cod? I get this question in my YouTube comments all the time. Where's this spot? Where's that spot? Where's a good spot? To be honest, I often pretend I don't see it and don't reply for a number of reasons, but one being, if I spoon feed people and tell them exactly where the fish are, well, you're not going to become a good fisherman. You're going to become like a baby fisherman that's being spoon fed. You need to do your own research. I will list a number of rivers right here. The Ovens River, that's a great river for Murray cod fishing. The Goulburn River is every bit as good, if not better. The Campaspe, the Loddon, the Broken, they've all got Murray cod in them. In New South Wales, you've got the Billabong Creek, you've got the Murrumbidgee River, the Lachlan River. There's Murray cod right throughout. The Darling River itself's got a lot of Murray cod in it. What you need to do let's say hypothetically I was going to the Loddon River. It's a river I don't know very well. I fished the Campaspe a few times, but I've only ever fished the Loddon once. We went through private property. I can't even remember where. A friend took me there, so I don't know where to go. The first thing I would do, say I was going there tomorrow, tonight I would jump onto Google Maps and I would have a look. And I would just have a look and see where I can get into the river. The middle to the lower sections would be good. Murray cod aren't an upland species. You don't find them right up in the cold, clear headwaters in the mountains where the trout are. You find them in the middle sections where the water's deep and where it's slowed down, and right down here in the lower reaches. I'm only a stone's throw from where the Ovens River enters the Murray River at Bundalong. You find Murray cod in the lower, slower, lower reaches of the river, in the deep holes. So I'd look at Google Maps. I'd look for the Loddon River, and I'd look for access points along it, particularly in the lower half of the river, and then I'd just get in my car and I'd go and explore. And if the first spot didn't look any good, I'd try another spot. If that didn't look any good, I'd try another spot, and eventually I'll find a spot that I like. I'll be looking for somewhere with nice deep hole. Look this one here. Look at all these logs in the water here. Look for a bit of depth, a bit of logs, and I'll fish near that, and I'll look for a Murray cod. And if I catch one, I will be so thankful. I'll be patting myself on the back because nobody told me to go to that spot. I figured it all out myself. And that's the best thing about becoming a good fisherman. So I've given you a basic idea of where they are, but now you've got to do your homework and jump on Google Maps, find out where the access and everything is, and just go and try a couple of spots and see how you go. Now, number 3, what do you look for? Do you look for a sandbar? Do you look for a waterfall? Do you look for a deep hole? Basically, cod love logs. They love snags. They're an ambush predator. And this is a really good spot here. If you look at how wide and open that is, if I haven't got a rod with me now, but if I did have, I would probably be fishing around these snags here. I might even walk out along that log and just drop a bit of cheese underneath all that scum on the water down there. Murray cod like to hide in the real thick of things. You won't find them out there in the open, away from the snags, away from the bank, just under the surface, swimming around looking for food. That's what pelagic fish do. It's not what Murray cod do. Murray cod are an ambush predator. If there's a log out there in the middle, they will absolutely sit under that log or in that log or beside that log, waiting for something to swim past. But they won't just cruise around looking for food all day. Murray cod don't do that. They love the banks. When I'm drifting down the river here in my kayak casting lures, I always cast to the bank. Most people do, and 99% of the fish that I catch are caught within a metre or two of the bank because they're up close. I like the shade. So here we've got a nice pool. It looks like it's really deep. Over this side looks really sunny. Over there it's nice and shady. In fact, I don't know whether the camera's picking it up, but if I look over there on that point, there's shade. There's a big log going in next to the bank. That's a prime spot for a Murray cod. He'll be hiding under that log, under the cover of the shade, just waiting for a little fish to swim past. Might be a carp, might be a little baby Murray cod or a yellow belly. Cod don't care. If it's the right size and it's moving, bang, it's in trouble. So look for deep holes, look for structure. That structure can be rocks, boulders, undercut banks, and shade on the water is also a good thing. That's not to say you won't catch cod in the sun. I've done it myself, but that's just what I prefer. Shade, depth, and lots of structure. And when I say depth, in the bright daylight, it's not very bright down deep. So deep is good during the day, but during the evening, you'll get them in a foot or two of water. They'll come up into the shallows and they will feed. So a spot like this, they might live down deep during the day when it's really bright. Then when the sun goes down, they might move up really close around these snags to feed. But I reckon I could nearly bet my bottom dollar here on the Ovens River that there's probably a Murray cod or two just sitting under those logs there right now, waiting for something to swim past. And you want it to be your lure or your bait so that you catch that fish. Now, number 2 is bait and rigs. What sort of bait and rigs should you use? I like 2 sorts of rigs. I've got 2 main types of rigs when I'm bait fishing, and that is the paternoster rig and the running sinker rig. If you search Robbie fishing, paternoster and running sinker rig, you'll find a video that I made where I show exactly what each rig looks like, why I choose one over another, blah, 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 and you'll learn all about them. Basically, a paternoster rig, the weight's at the bottom, there's a loop coming off the line, and that's where you put your bait. And a running sinker rig is when the line goes through the sinker and you tie it to a hook so that the line can slide through the sinker preventing the fish from feeling any resistance. I like both of them, but I think I prefer the paternoster rig when I'm bait fishing for Murray cod. The reason being, they hit so hard. When you've got a fish like a trout or a small redfin that's just nibbling, you don't want them to be able to feel the rod tip. But a cod that hits that hard, it'll grab the lure, it'll grab the bait, sorry, and it'll hook up automatically anyway, even if it does feel the rod tip. What they do, they sit under this structure. You might put your bait only a couple of metres in front of the structure, only a metre or so even in front of the structure. They won't come out, eat it, chew it, munch on it, get a taste for it, then swim back in. They come out, they go grab it, and they turn around and go straight back under the log, because they don't want to come out in the open during the day. So they come out, turn around, go straight back, and your rod just goes straight down. They have the most epic bite, and that's why they don't fight very well, but they bite hard, they hit a lure very hard. So what you want to do is just use a paternoster rig with a hook and a sinker and a bit of bait, cast, just lower it near a log, preferably in the shade, and the fish will come out, grab it, and pretty much hook itself. And you've got to be sitting there, because if you're not, your rod will take off in the river. I've had fishing rods stolen by fish in the past, particularly Murray cod and trout cod that we get here, although they're protected, but they hit the bait very, very hard. Now, speaking of bait, what is the best bait? I like cheese. Murray cod will eat anything, but they like things with a bit of fat in them. My favourite Murray cod bait is cheese. In the summer months, I use Tasty cheese. In the winter months, I use mozzarella cheese. Now that sounds a bit weird, but there's method to my madness, because Tasty cheese in the winter, when it's really cold, it becomes quite flaky and it's hard to keep on the hook. This time of year, it softens up a little bit and you can keep it on the hook easier. Mozzarella cheese is the other way around. In the winter, it's a little bit firmer and it'll stay on the hook. In the summer, it's that soft, it's like putting jelly on the hook. It just comes straight off. Any cheese will do as long as you can keep it on the hook. For me, I like Tasty in the summer, mozzarella in the winter. Also chicken. You can buy from the Complete Angler stores, Chicken's Hit. I don't know whether it's all Complete Angler, but up here at Adventure Camping and Fishing in Wangaratta, you can get it. It's called Chicken's Hit. It's chicken, but it's marinated in fish pheromones and a few different herbs and spices. I don't know, but it's got some sense in it and it works really well. But I believe just a bit of raw chicken will work as well. In fact, my friend Tim has caught Murray cod on chicken drumsticks, chicken nuggets, and all chicken fingers, all kinds of things chicken. So chicken's a very good bait. Natural baits, such as barty grubs, if you can get them, or yabbies, they're also very good baits as well. But I find that cheese outperforms all of them. I don't know why, maybe it's the fat in the cheese. Some people believe that the cheese attracts the shrimp and the cod eat the shrimp and end up getting the cheese. I don't believe that. I think they want the cheese. In the middle of winter when there's no shrimp around, I still catch a lot of cod on cheese. Well, not a lot, but I catch cod on cheese. So cheese is my favourite bait for Murray cod. And if you're just starting your Murray cod journey, I suggest using cheese. I use a hook, a reasonable size hook, because they're pretty big. Something about the size of your little finger, I suppose you could say. With a bit of cheese, maybe about 1/2 inch to 1 inch square, you can put that on. You can cut it thinner so that you can thread it on a bit easier without it breaking. And you can't go wrong. Other than that, like I said, a bit of chicken, a yabby, a barty grub. I like worms. Worms will definitely help you catch your first Murray cod, but it might only be a small one. Worms are a bit of a big fish, a bit of a small fish bait. They catch everything. No matter what's in the water there, it'll eat worms, whether it's a carp, a redfin, a yellow belly, a catfish, a silver perch, a Murray cod, a trout cod, a Macquarie perch, a blackfish. They all eat worms, but you don't get many big fish with worms. My number one tip is to use cheese if you're bait fishing for Murray cod. Now, the number one most important thing, it's not a tip as such, but it's just something you need to know, is when is the best time. I find when the season first opens in December, see, before there was a cod season when I was growing up, spring was the best time, but we didn't know why. That's because they're spawning and they're easy to catch and they're quite vulnerable. That's why we have a closed season now. When the season opens on the 1st of December, December is by far my most favouriteest month of the calendar year to target Murray cod. Now, it can vary each year, but January and February, when the water gets really low in some of these rivers, it gets really dark, particularly here in the Ovens River, which is a natural wild flowing river. The fishing can slow right down. The river fills up with shrimp. The water will be low, dark, quite warm. You'll still catch Murray cod, but they don't bite as well as they do when the water's up a little bit like now. It's nice and high, it's got that nice green tinge. This is ideal. But during those times, rivers like the Goulburn River and the Murray River that have got an artificial flow because they're letting water out of Lake Eildon and Lake Hume, they might be okay. But here locally, January and February can be pretty slow. March, April and May, as we go into autumn, I find that time of year to be all or nothing Murray cod fishing in the autumn. I have some of my best fishing trips in the autumn and I have some of my worst. The more often I go, the more likely I am to have a better trip, but it's also an unreliable time of year to go out and catch Murray cod on a regular basis. December is by far the best time of the year, in my opinion, to catch a Murray cod. So let's just recap a couple of things here. You're going cod fishing for the first time. I've just taught you that they're an endemic species to the Murray-Darling Basin. They're right throughout the Murray River. They're in the tributaries, the Goulburn, the Ovens, the Murrumbidgee, the Lachlan, the Darling. They're in tributaries of those tributaries in some places. I've told you roughly where they are. December is the best time to catch them, but you will catch them in January and February as well. Use a bit of cheese for bait, that's my number one tip. Cheese or worms, fish in the shade, fish near logs, find a bit of depth and concentrate on the low light periods of sunrise and sunset. And I tell you what folks, if you follow these tips that I've given you, you might not catch a meatery, you might not catch a monster, you might not get your head on the cover of a magazine, but you might just catch your first Murray cod and that will get you hooked on Murray cod fishing forever. Then you'll keep fishing, you'll keep doing that, and then you'll start refining your own ways and systems of doing things, and before you know it, you'll be catching cod on a regular basis. I hope you found this video informative. Thank you very much for watching.